Alright, James, get ready. Because today you're gonna have to do work that'll get your paint dirty. James the Red Engine. Who is he? If you answered, a kind engine who always does what he can to be useful and helpful to his friends despite his appearance, well, you'd be f***ing wrong. James, while definitely not a bad engine, he's not the by-the-books definition of a hard worker. He's a really splendid engine who goes on and on and on telling us so. He's a really splendid fellow, and he really is quite vain. Ha, get it? It's like the music video. But any fan of Thomas knows the personality of James, and his most defining trait, that being the love he has for his red paint.
She's red now. I just saw her today.
Rosie is red? Red? Like me red? James red? Splendid red? Are you teasing me? Thomas?
And how he reacts if it's taken away. The little clip that I made in the beginning of the video is a bit of an over-exaggeration of this, but it isn't too far off. This trope has been shown multiple times in multiple different episodes. Some examples include Tickle Pink and An Engine of Many Colors, where we dive into James's insecurity of, well, him not being red. Tickle Pink on a more base level, and An Engine of Many Colors being a more psychological one. While sure, both of these episodes are great, I'm going to be highlighting an episode that's a lot less about James's insecurities and more about him genuinely f***ing himself over. Before I get started, this video is inspired by D10's Worst Thomas episode series. At the time of writing this video, he just uploaded another one, which is about Oliver's worst episode. So go show that video and his channel some love. I'll link them both down in the description. And hey, if y'all like this video, maybe I'll make a series out of it. Let me know in the comments. So without further ado, this is James Gets a New Coat, the most underrated James episode in Thomas and Friends. Right off the bat, the episode starts with the narrator explaining that everyone on Soder likes washdowns, and how James is getting a repaint. After this, James arrives back at Tim's sheds and immediately starts boasting about being special because of his red paint. However, Percy gets sad due to him thinking he's not special because he's not red. Thomas immediately scolds James about his boasting. Although, with how much stupid shit Thomas does in this era, this coming from him of all engines does feel pretty hypocritical, but that could just be me, I'm not completely sure. But the next day, the Fat Controller tells James he's going to be working at the coaling plant. Also, completely off topic, but this line made me laugh.
So no dilly-dallying, he said.
I mean, come on, bro does not want the dilly-dallying. But James does just that. Rather than going to the coaling plant, he practically goes around the island all day glazing himself and trying to get others to notice his paint. But the way the narrator, specifically Angelus, delivered this line just made me smile.
Magnificent, he puffed.
I just love subtle moments when James just pumps himself up. Even when he doesn't need to, it's honestly just hilarious.
James, he asked, why are you red? I am a splendid engine, answered James, ready for anything. You never see my paint dirty. Hello, Trevor, said James. You look as bright and cheerful as my red paint.
I can't help being fast, Emily.
Meanwhile, at the coaling plant, Percy is shunting long lines of troublesome trucks waiting for James, with both him and the yardmaster getting angry. Something I do take issue with here is simply how many trucks are there. There are barely any at all. I'll go more into this issue later on, but I just thought I'd mention it now. Finally, James arrives at the coaling plant, when Percy just finishes up. Bro was going around the island all day, bothering everyone he meets, looking at himself, and trying to get others to look at him. He was doing it from late morning into late afternoon. I love James. So to make up for the lost time, James has to pull an extra long load to Brendam Docks, which he loves because people will be there to see his red paint. So basically, James leaves an whoa.
Lois, this is not my Batman glass.
There is so much wrong here. First of all, that is not a huge load. That's like 8 trucks and a brake van. James pulled double that in season 1. If this was a huge load, then what did Percy take, like 4 trucks? I mean, I get you were shunting in the yard all day, but goddamn, pull your weight. Secondly, why the fuck is James pushing from behind? He won't be able to see anything. Anywhere from where he's going. What if there's another engine going the opposite way from him? It's not even just that. He's pushing the train with the brake van in front. This is just a stupid way to take trucks. No wonder the coal dust got all over you. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to break character, but that was a bit of a huge nitpick I had while watching the episode like 5 times over. I still don't understand that configuration. So basically, due to James being a dumbass and pushing the trucks from behind, James gets covered in coal dust. He's completely covered and doesn't even want to be seen. Well, that's what you get for pushing the... Okay, I'll stop bringing it up. And I know I'm pretty late into this episode, but I'm really glad James didn't just leave his trucks here and cower away. He still got the job done. However, when he does, everyone at Brendam laughs and teases him. Percy especially got in a pretty good line.
I like your new coat of paint, he puffed cheekily. You do look splendid.
Even though he was extremely embarrassed, James himself even got a laugh. And I'm gonna be completely honest, this ending line's pretty cute.
At him. And despite feeling foolish, even James had to smile.
Okay, so with all that said, do I think this episode is perfect? Nowhere near. The episode clearly has a lot of flaws and issues, although they're mostly just nitpicks on my part. The Elsbridge set looks oddly deserted. One of James's faces, specifically his smiling one in this scene, has paint missing on the mouth, and Jealous sorta yells his lines for James, and I still can't get over the fact that James's quote-unquote big load was 9 cars total, with James pushing from behind. But there's also a lot of great things to like about this episode. For example, I know this may be a minor detail, but I'm glad that Percy is the one to get the last laugh in the episode. He didn't feel special because he wasn't properly painted like James was. Those are James's words, not mine. He was worked to the bone for the entirety of the next day due to James fucking around the whole day, only for him to get karma at the end of the day. And not gonna lie, Percy seems like the GOAT of this episode. And James is written absolutely perfectly. From the boasting to putting off his work for the entire day to look at himself, that's something I loved about the Hit era. While sure, it may get a lot of characters wrong, it always got James oh so very right. I especially love the ending. They could have easily had James be like, hey Thomas, fuck you. I got my paint dirty, now I'm gonna make it your problem. But no, they had Percy say, hey James, fuck you. And James just laughed it off and said, yeah, I kind of deserve that, didn't I? It's pretty great when people can just laugh at themselves, especially insecure characters like James. I know I said they didn't really focus on James's insecurities here, but they are still touched on. And I'm gonna bring out a hot take here. I think his insecurities are handled better here than they are in both Tickled Pink and An Engine of Many Colors. While sure, James did quote-unquote overcome them, it wasn't really until he got reassurance from other people. Those kids in Tickled Pink and the Fat Controller in An Engine of Many Colors. Here, everybody was making fun of him, and he could just laugh it off and just make fun of himself too. Now, do I think this episode is better than the other two? Sort of. A Tickled Pink, definitely. I'm not too sure about An Engine for Many Colors. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk about that episode one day. But this moment right here, I like to see it as a bit of a growth for James. We've seen dozens of times before and after this episode, James's red paint is ruined. He's been shown to feel either extremely sorry for himself or extremely pissed. Well, sure, he does for quite a while feel sorry for himself here. This single line of dialogue was such a lovely addition. I think my boy deserved a bit of growth.
Even James had to smile.
I do understand why people will pay this episode no mind. I mean, this is a Hit era episode, and Hit definitely made episodes that are just not good, but it also has gems. This episode is a prime example. Overall, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely not my favorite James episode, but it's pretty damn good. Top 5 for me. It had its flaws, which stuck with me, but it also has special things about it. It's an extremely underrated episode for what it does, and I think y'all should give it a watch. It shows 2 main characters in an extremely good way, it doesn't have any stupid deliveries or stupid places, and it has a whole lot of James. And coming from somebody who loves the hell out of James, this episode really does do him justice. So with that, I'll end the episode here. What do y'all think of this episode? Is it good? Is it bad? Or is it just plain mid? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know if I should do more videos like these. Okay, I'm just noticing this at the end of editing, but apparently his first video in this series was a James video, and this just happened to be a James video. I'm not trying to copy your content, D10 Studios, if you're watching this. It was just a coincidence. I really do love this hit era episode. Okay, thank you.
I've loved fish and chips since I was a kid. Every Friday night for years, that's what people did. All sat round the table with salty fingertips.